So I'll be honest, I went through the 3 days without a phone, and I don't go to stores, so I avoid a lot of stuff. Even throughout the summer, I was a couple of months without a phone. I went to the Apple store on Fifth Avenue, and it was this girl that looks like Julianna works there, and the first thing I walked down the stairs and she spoke poop about me to the security guard, and she treated me like I was a piece of shit, She said, "Oh, this one," that's what she said, And then I noticed that she gets high in cannabis and dope, and she, I don't know what else she does, she's a drinker, I don't know if she's a he or he's a she, And I remember I went to the laptop because I was gonna order food, and when I went there, she was behind me out of nowhere, and that store had a 400. At the time, I had 372 people down there, And the security guard chased me outside with a stolen Apple phone from the store and recorded me cursing him out because they didn't kick me out. I chose to leave, But I don't like people following me when my dads are the owners of Apple, It was very and on Fifth Avenue, on my home address, I live my main residence is across the street at the plaza, and I don't like that, that was the most disrespectful act, and I'm sorry, those people. I don't know, but those people take some time. So because when they obese a certain amount of time in their life, a lot of them know to stay unto themselves because they're very, very, very crazy and they're very backstabbing and they do very bad things, But that one, she hates Republicans more than the world could stand, And people with obesity, of that morbid obesity and of a certain size like that shouldn't be working and shouldn't be and talking about people like that. That was very disrespectful of her. And I need you to mind your business. Okay. I have the freedom of speech. Anyway, big people shouldn't be working, at all, and the government is not going to supply you income for that. You have to stay at your family's house, or they have to deal with you, That's not something we deal with, there's Medicaid insurance that we give, you stay at a rehabilitation center for a certain amount of time, and Tammy's problem. She has to stay alone, but you have to check up on her because she does crazy things, Anyway, that's not the point. Yesterday, I had a bad experience, Yes, I wasn't tired. I'm just wasting time because I slept all day, And I ended up at World Trade Center, and I'm sitting to take it back to my station because I was wasting time. I sit in my station, and I go upstairs, and I go to the store. I get soda, or I get food, or, or I go outside, and I see cops going in, and there's girl cops that are boys, female to male. Then not the black tribe. They cut their hair and they say they're boys and they wear cornrows and they say they male cops too. It's getting very, very, very. It's getting a little too much, And then the big boy cops, and then after a while, 7 minutes, I'm waiting for the other train because when the train came, that one dispatches, that one leaves, And they never saw me. And then the cop with the white shirt comes to me, and he was very nasty to me. He kicked me out of there. He said I had to leave, that this is the last stop. And everybody's waiting for the train to depart as well, I pay my fair share, And I told him that you everything, and I had to go to I went to the corridor to wait for the NRW train, that goes up to here, 57th Street, And that train never came, That train was never going to come. So I went to the Oculus, and I go out. And I decided I had to walk all the way to Soho to take the train to Spring Street, Because, and then this was an operation from the BRC people. Those people with the orange jackets and those cars, and I don't blame why people are starting to vandalize their minivans, I don't blame why you started to vandalize all their minivans, because those people, why you come down there for, and I asked them, I'm the owner of the MTA, and my father, and my family has asked them, please do not go through the MTA system, Those people are sleeping, that's their downtime. You don't go down there and bother them. You don't go to Grand Central to bother them. You don't go to, I don't want you to in Grand Central. I don't want you in Madison Square Garden, We own that, and respect my wishes and respect our wishes, We don't want you there. You started a whole police operation. There was 13 cops ahead and 15 cops in between that man with a white shirt. And they were all black. And today when I went to Madison Square Garden, I just went through the station to take a shortcut. I see a bunch of white, they send white folks this morning. This is not about white or black. We just don't want you there, This is not about sending Republicans or Democrats or whites or blacks or old or young. We don't want you there. We don't want you there. You go to the streets and do outreach. You go to the home. You go to places and outreach. You go to in front of the HRA offices and outreach, but not in the MTA system. Because I had to walk all the way to Spring Street. And if you go there again, you looking for lots of trouble. Lots of trouble.